When I got back, I met the mayor, and he and I toured the area, and I was his companion for quite a few days. And
were you the commander of the unit at that time, or?
Yes.
So what was it like being on duty and trying to help others when you knew that your family's house was gone?
They saw more of him than we did, I can tell you that.
I believe it.
I was not happy with the mayor.
Yeah, that's the tough part of being in the Guard.
I told you why I brought her along.
He was out at least, I would guess, 2 or 3 nights a week, either with something with the city or something with the Guard or the church. They were all 3 very important to him.
And was he the full-time commander there every day? And now they also had Marsh Johnson.
Marsh Johnson was a high school buddy of Homer's, and he oversaw the flying part. Homer just was head man of the whole kit and caboodle.
So would you say that Marsh worked for Homer, or did they work together side by side, or?
Well, first off, I don't know how you would I would assume every unit has to have a head man, which would be Homer. Marsh was here, and the people who worked on the planes kept them in, was here, and I don't remember his name, but he's dead.
Marsh was a squadron commander.
Yeah. Hey, you thought about the name. I didn't think. Squadron commander and a personal friend, and you know.
And then how did you get along with Marsh? How did you work with him?
Oh, fine. Fine. In my junk and big favors, there's pictures of Marsh and I out hunting when we were in college.
When they were in college and high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you guys worked well together then, I assume.
Yeah, a long time.
Was Pappy in the mix?
Pardon?
Pappy Larson? Duane?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When the Guard was activated, it'll be in there, they rented our house because I had followed Homer all over the country in World War II, and he wasn't about to leave me home.
Marsh didn't do that.
No.
Oh.
The other one you were talking about.
Pappy.
Larson?
Pappy Larson. He and his wife and their 4 children moved into our house and rented it from us until we returned, which was, I think, what, 55 maybe? I think it was 52, 51 when the Guard unit was activated, 51 or 52. And it's in there also. Yeah. Okay, and we didn't get back until 55. We ended up in St. John's, Newfoundland.
You started out in the Army, is that right?
Mm-mm.
Did you start out in the Army prior to the Air National Guard?
When you left the college, were you considered Army?
It was the Army Air Corps, I think.
Yes, it was the Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps. And then
the Adjutant General picked, I think it was 7 people to work together and form the North Dakota Air National Guard.
Was that General Edwards at the time?
Yes. So.
And there was a Neece that was involved there too, right? His name was Colonel Neece.
Oh, he was regular Air Force by that time, and he came in, and he was the, what I want to say, they were guardsmen, he was full-time service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was kind of a liaison or
Well,
Air Force.
Air Force sent him in. I don't know what title they gave him. Mouthy.
No, you're great. Just another.
So what you think at that time? You'd already traveled all over the place, and now.
You mean when we were sent to Newfoundland?
Well, and after that, once he was
When we
approached
came
to help
back?
start the Air National Guard, were you, because he had been out of the military.
Well,
then,
that
right?
was in 47, I think.
Yeah. And had there had been a little break in service?
Oh, yes. He got out of the Army Air Corps and came back to Fargo and went into business with his brother for a year or two. Then he went out to the college and taught math for 6 months or so. And then General Edwards asked him to set up this group and form the North Dakota Air National Guard.
So he was there right from the beginning, right, in
Oh, yeah.
1947?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of all that at the time? Did you want him to get back in uniform?
Well, I didn't object. From the time I married him, he was in uniform, so, you know, it was nothing strange to me. And
Do you remember those early days and what it was like starting the Air National Guard? And that's a huge endeavor.
You mean when you were younger than high school? Or you older than that?
no, Homer,
When-
when you came back from service
Yep.
and General Edwards asked you to meet with those 6 other people and form the North Dakota Air National
Yeah.
Guard.
Yep.
She wants to know,
What was that like? I would imagine that's a huge challenge.
Well, it was, I don't know. It was great. Yeah, we were just doing what we were told and doing what we could be told. Yeah.
Has he gone a lot at that time? How much
mm,
did it has a big impact? on your life?
I will say this, when he was not in town, Homer endeavored to get home at the time at 5 o'clock. He would leave the office and come home. Now, sometimes he had to go back or go somewhere else, but he was at the office before 8, and he tried to leave the office at 5.
Nice.
He felt, well, we had 4 boys to
Yeah,
raise.
that-
Boys need their father. And, but like I said, he got called back frequently, and it was, you know, it was, but like I said, he was in the Air Force, Army Air Force, when I married him. So it was nothing new. It was all, you know.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
I hope you send me some of those pictures.
I sure will.
I just want to look at them. I'll send them back to you because I'm not going to have any place to keep them.
Absolutely.
No,
I'll be moving into
I'm sure we'll
something
get someone
within a
to
year or
keep
two,
that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Will you be able to stay in Fergus Falls or even come here? Is that enough?
If I can still get around, I'll go back to Fargo. That's where he brought me as a war bride in 47.
Okay.
Of course, I thought they ought to give this land back to the Indians after the second snowstorm. And I wasn't too sure they'd have it. And I'm an 8th Cherokee.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the oil fields in Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh my goodness, that was so how did you two meet?
The Air Force and the British Air Force formed a training camp in Ponca City, Oklahoma. And Homer was sent in as a supply officer. And I was 18 at the time, I was dating one of the British, a first lieutenant. I don't know whether their first lieutenants is the same as ours or not, I don't remember that. And but he was going back to England. And Homer, are you interested in this kind of stuff? Homer had placed a call to a general in Oklahoma City. And the general wasn't in, but we left word for him to return the call. He returned the call. I was on the telephone. At that time, I was working the telephone. switchboard. And I tried every telephone on base and I couldn't find Homer. And I told them I would locate him and have him return the call. And when Homer returned the call, I gave him holy hell. I said, how dare you place a call with a general and then leave your office and not call me and tell me where you're at. Oh, so he hung up the phone and he came up to the office to see who the hell would give him so much trouble. That was the worst mistake he ever made, agreed?
One mistake.
And then he wanted to date me. And my English friend, John, said, I'll be gone in 10 days. Just let it wait for 10 days. And he did. So, anyway. That was the beginning of this 69-year-old marriage. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
and when he was transferred out of the Dar School of Aeronautics, it was called, and he was going into pilot's training, he had to go to San Antonio for training. And we got married before he left. And then I followed him to San Antonio 2 or 3 weeks later after they could replace me. And then we were all over Texas and Oklahoma. And before the war was over, he would go into training like 3 months at a time. I think it was 3 months at a time. And he trained for this and he trained for that. Whatever they train, most of the planes, he had started out on 2-wing planes and then they went to 1-wing planes, which required additional training. And like I said, we moved all over Texas and Oklahoma every 3 months. And I had my first child in the medical center at San Antonio on my anniversary. I was in the hospital on my anniversary. So, anyway, then he came back, the Guard was formed, he was there. Then the Guard was activated in 51, and we went to Uvalde, Texas, I think it was. I think that's where the Air Guard went.
Moody Air Force Base is?
I think that was it, yes. And then from there, it was, I know we ended up in Louisiana at the time of the war was over. We came home from somewhere in Louisiana.
Did you have all 4 boys by the time the war was?
No. I just had one. I didn't have the second one until, oh yeah. One was born in 44, one was born in 48. And so I had him at home back in Fargo. And then the twins were born in Fargo in 50, and the unit was activated in 51. So I had all 4 boys with me during the Korean War. And I drove with 3 babies, you might say, and 1 5-year-old up north to an air base, and we drove. I picked him up close to New York, and we drove all the way up to someplace on the coast of Canada and took a boat over to St. John's, Newfoundland. And we were there for 3 years or so, and then came back.
So tell me, what was it like during the Korean War, as far as
Homer went, they had to, he ended up, because they scatter these people all over, he ended up being back in the supply department, heading up the supply department at the air base in St. John's, Newfoundland.
No, not Hondo.
Huh?
No, I was thinking of Hondo.
What, dear?
No, I was thinking of Hondo.
That was
Well,
Hondo,
okay.
Texas. Yeah, we were there.
They went to Moody, I know, at one point. Did you go to Moody?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a picture of that. I don't know if you remember anything about that particular.
Here you are, Homer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's Marsh Johnson, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's in there too.
I think he's in front of the deal, and there's Homer over there. I don't know.
Do you remember what was happening there? Was it a ceremony of some sort?
At Moody Air Force Base, Daddy? I didn't know much about what was going on then because
Probably had your hands
I
full
had
anyway.
twins. I had twins that were a year and a half old, and I had one that was 4 years old, and one that was 8 years old. I didn't have time.
Yeah, I couldn't think
And
about anything else.
you'll love this. When I first went to Hondo, Texas, where he was in training, he had to have a clean uniform every other day. There were no washers or dryers anywhere. Who do you think washed those damn uniforms on a scrub board and ironed them in the trailer we lived in?
Oh my goodness.
Let me
On
tell
top
you.
of diapers and
Oh.
boys.
Well, yeah, but I didn't
Boys.
have to iron diapers.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And they didn't have paper diapers in those
Oh,
days.
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember that picture.
Yeah, right that quote. Yeah.
No.
There's a few others.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
we'll
just
see
looked
if
through.
they
We looked
jog
through a
any
few,
memories.
and you have some really good ones there too. I might actually like to scan some of your pictures if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, be my guest.
I can make sure they get back to you.
That was, I think he spent 22 years with the Guard.
Do you remember how long with the Army Air Corps before that?
Well, he graduated in 42 and went in the Air Corps. And we left it in
December 20th, 1945.
45, that's right.
Are these my pictures now? You're looking or your own?
This actually was from the Veterans Home, did an article on you that I found.
Here's old, the Happy Hooligan Man. You know, we toured after he got out and he retired. Here's,
Yeah,
that
that's
Pappy?
Pappy.
that's Pappy,
yeah.
Marsh Johnson and Homer, and I don't know who this is. It's Army. I think that's Army. I don't know who that is. Anyway, we toured. I went everywhere in the world I wanted to go after Homer got out of the Air Guard. Originally, we paid $10 a piece to fly, and the Air Force finally decided they were spending more money trying to take care of that $10, just fly free, okay? I've never forgotten that. But everywhere we would go, we would end up at the cocktail hour in the bar. I don't drink, but he does, okay? And everywhere we went, every air base had a Happy Hooligan.
The sticker?
The sticker. Everyone. We never went to a bar in Europe, even in Greece. There was a Happy Hooligan sign.
We still do that. You
Do-
know. I went just
Kind of one neat thing about being a hooligan. Everybody knows you. Plus, you see those stickers everywhere around the world.
Put stickers in different places. So stickers, and I did the same thing. I found stickers most places I went.
Well, I never put any, but I saw them all, and I always chuckled.
This is something that we want to leave you with too. These are all the airplanes we've flown over the years.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, you can keep that, and
Happy Hooligan. That's beautiful.
yeah, all the different aircraft that we've flown over the years, including the most recent ones that we have there are, you know, the current ones are, this one right here is, this is the Predator. They call that the MQ-1 Predator. And then we have our C-21, so we're flying both of these at the same time.
Is the Predator the one that is
remotely piloted?
piloted? That's becoming quite an interesting.
You were probably there when they flew those two aircraft, the F-89 and the F-94.
It's sure wonderful that the two airplanes in Washington, D.C. were ours.
I was on 9/11.
Now that I didn't know. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
This was supposed to be from Casper, and I don't know if you ever went to Casper on like a summer camp or something. And there's some
Casper, Wyoming. Casper,
some
Wyoming.
early pictures. This was a
I don't remember
group
Casper.
picture. I'm not sure where it was taken, but you're probably one of those people in the middle there. You might remember something about it. It's probably a summer camp. Maybe it was in
It's a summer camp somewhere.
yeah, California.
I don't ever remember anything about Casper, but it's what I was doing at that time, and
Sure.
that's more important.
And he may or may not have even gone there with the group that went.
No, he may have been. See, he left the Guard in
Out here.
'68, February of '68, and
Can you see me in there?
oh heavens,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I don't know where more of this is.
So what would you consider the highlight of your career?
Pardon?
What would you consider the highlight of your career? What do you remember more than anything else?
I guess getting that first star was would be the one.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, there had to be better periods then. I just can't think of them. You know?
Yeah, but that is a pretty big deal. So you were the first Air Guard general in North Dakota.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you were getting that star?
That was great. No question about
That would
that.
have been in '66, or we would have been married 43, 66. About 23 years, if you can find that, anything dated in the 60s, it'll be in there.
Of course, when I let someone catch me, and that young age, was that?
Were you a pilot then? Did you fly for the unit?
No, I quit flying when we started the Second Guard unit, and I think, as I remember, I think that I spent the last year in the Air Force flying an airplane, training navigators, and the flying was done, and somewhere up and down the east, the east, not ship, the east, probably along the Mississippi up and down. And wasn't that time?
I think we were in Hondo, Texas, and you were flying trainees, navigator trainees. Because I can tell you one story, you may not want it in the article.
I better switch the
Those are
microphone
always
back
the good
then.
ones.
He had to go out to there was a pilot, a co-pilot, and 3 navigator students. And he goes out one day with new students that were coming in, and his navigator is leading him. And Homer touches the plane. He said, "Oh, we're here." I did. Assuming they all assumed he couldn't see. They were not happy. Until he turned around and laughed at him. Isn't that awful?
Those are
3 young kids?
Those are the great stories. We want to hear some more of those. Do you have any more like that?
Were you pulling pranks like that often? Or teasing?
I don't know, but I heard about that one, so. And isn't it funny the things you remember going on 87?
Well, yeah, and I mean, for the unit members that are in the North Dakota Air Guard today, I mean, what would you want them to know about Homer? Is there anything that, you know, you could brag about him a little bit? Or
Only that the Guard was very important to Homer, and he truly loved the North Dakota Air National Guard. Let me put it that way.
That's wonderful.
And I never worried about another woman, but I did a time or two worry about the Guard.
That's perfect.
That's
We
very
love
So,
that. We love it.
anyway, oh gosh. When I was going from Uvalde, Texas, up the coast to, I think I went to New Brunswick, I think is where Homer met me. And then I'm driving in the car with a 5-year or 6-year-old. He was born in 44, and this is 52, yeah. Oh, he was 8. No, it was 51 that the unit was activated in the Korean War, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was 7. Okay, I have a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and twins. Less than a year old. No, year and a half old. Year old. They were born September of 50, and this would have been in the summer of 51. Okay, so they're not even a year old yet. And I load the car up. I put boxes between the front seat and the back seat, covered them with quilts, and then put a blanket over the whole ball of wax. That was their playpen. Okay, and the Johnny, the 3-year-old, stood in the back seat. I remember he was always sucking his thumb. He's a retired Air Force man, and we always stayed in motels. But on the way up to New Brunswick, I pulled into Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, I think it was. Went to the biggest hotel that I could find downtown, and said, send me out 2 bellhops. When the first one came out, I put a twin in his arm. I showed the other one where the luggage was that had to go in, and I had Johnny, or my oldest one, Buzz, take Johnny's hand, and I carried the second twin. And that's where we went into this fancy hotel in Richmond. And I don't stay in fancy hotels when I'm traveling. I'm not dressed for it, and you know. Anyway, same thing happened when we went out and loaded the car.
Did your kids go into the military? Any of your kids?
Yes, the second one, Johnny. He was Air Force and retired after 20 years. He was a navigator.
What rank did he reach?
Well, there wasn't anything going on those years. I think Johnny was just still a major when he retired. They were great days. A lot was accomplished. I think Homer thought a lot was accomplished at any rate, and he was very happy with what was taking place in the Air Guard. So.
What do you think he contributed most during those 22 years?
Well, I know he promoted the Guard and everything that he did. He was joined the Rotary, the American Legion, and he was on call, went where they wanted him to go, did what they would like him to do, and he enjoyed his work. So
he did a lot of speaking?
He didn't do much speaking, as they would just go and be there and say hello and blah, 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 you know. I don't think he made any speeches. Homer's not a speaker, particularly. That's about all I can tell you.
How do you like to spend your time now, Homer? How do you like to spend your time here in this place? What do you like to do here?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
He goes to chapel.
I just worked nice. I guess you got a priest that prior to this guy, this side's gone, and we got this guy still here, and so I didn't have much to.
You look very young.
Where'd you get her?
I love
Hey, I tried complimenting you and you'd shoot me away.
I
Well,
love your spunk, and I think you're gorgeous.
she, oh, brother, I didn't even wash my hair. My son came from California, and I'm busy trying to get him settled in. And when Homer told me yesterday morning that you guys were going to be here at 10 o'clock, there just wasn't time. But thank you, and thank you. I didn't, you know, if I believed a word either one of you said.
All right. With that said, I'm a wedding videographer by trade, and I've never been able to say this before, so please humor me.
Okay.
Show me a 69 years of marriage kiss.
Oh,
Oh, the what?
a 69-year-old kiss.
Oh, the one of these guys?
Yeah,
Oh.
one of those guys.
Hey, want to see them laugh?
No,
Oh,
there's a picture in there, I think.
I love the pictures.
Oh, no, it may be one framed at home.
oh.
And he's watching TV and I'm sitting on his lap. My hair looks, I don't know who took this picture. It's a long kiss.
Good, here.
Well, that was a beautiful one.
Get that?
That, I'm in the wrong place to do this, but that was beautiful. Thank you.
I don't think they'd even grant divorce to anybody that had been married
Well, we
69 years.
appreciate it.
would
I'm
they?
getting a little hungry. But thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
I don't know.